What's up, everybody? This is Tanner from TammanBaseballFan.com. I wanted to talk about coping with collecting in 2021 and beyond. Things are quite a bit different now compared to a number of years ago when it comes to collecting. I actually did a search, and it looks like there are over 100 different products that have been released for 2021. So that causes problems with people that are trying to have this mindset of like, I gotta have it all, right? And it's very difficult to keep up. It's almost like, the amount of money that you have in your bank account is largely dependent upon what is released by the card companies if you try to go after everything. And that's one thing we certainly don't want to do. We want to be able to create healthy parameters and boundaries so that way we can deal with the hobby in a positive way, and we can also handle all of our bills and everything else in real life, right? And another thing that's important, I think, I've talked about this before, and I think it's very important to keep saying this. There's a lot of people out there that have been hiding their purchases from their spouses and all that. So that's definitely not something we want to do. We want to have this as like a very healthy hobby that's out in the open, that's good and it's vibrant for you. It's not something that's like causing any type of strain financially, relationship wise, or anything else like that. So I thought about this maybe as like a little bit of an alternative for all you people who might feel like you're on a treadmill right now and go like, well, how on earth do I go about getting off this treadmill? Because it's kind of difficult. I've been there before. I know how hard it is when you're on this track of like, I'm going to get everything, right? And then you're like, okay, I don't want to get everything now because there's just too much stuff coming at you. So one thing that I would suggest thinking about is maybe cutting up this hobby into categories. Because, I mean, let's face it, over 100 products being released in 2021 alone, that's kind of crazy, especially for somebody that is trying to get everything of their favorite player or team or whatever. So, the question is, like a lot of people have, is like, well, okay, I want to set boundaries, but how do I get off this treadmill? How do I set these boundaries? And so there's a number of ways you can do this. I've talked about some of these before. Maybe deal with collecting players that are only autographs or only base autographs instead of getting every single one in the rainbow. Collect cards from only the player's playing career. That's another way of going about it. For the guys that actually collect retired players, like myself, I think I found a way to do this that seems to work out really nicely for me, at least. And maybe it'll work out for you all too. So for Canseco, back when I was collecting everything of his, it was like I didn't want to get just like a barrel. I wanted all the barrels. I didn't want to just get a knob. I wanted all the knobs. I didn't want just a button. I wanted all the buttons. So, and I found out quickly that wasn't possible. I've owned like the lion's share of a lot of those cards before in the past or whatever. And I found that the joy of going, like, let's say for a barrel, from no barrels to one barrel is significantly higher than going from one barrel to two barrels. And so you could probably also use that money for something else that's unique. So the parameters that I've set, and I'm very loose on this, but I like the idea of having, setting up categories and having like one nice example of each category. So we're talking a barrel, a knob, a button, a sketch card, sleeve patch, a nameplate, letter, those sorts of things. And sometimes I will, and also like a superfractor, maybe a wood border. And the funny thing is you can really cut these categories up as many ways as you want it. So let's say for bat barrels, for example, there's a lot of people that could say, well, yeah, I just want one barrel, but I just want one non-autograph barrel and one autograph barrel, one black barrel, one tan barrel, one vertical card that has a barrel piece, one horizontal piece. So you see, it can kind of go, you could get into a situation where you have like 10 different barrels and you think they satisfy all of these certain different categories, which, is fine if you want to do that. For me personally, I think I'd like to stick with one barrel and maybe one autograph barrel. I don't have an autograph barrel anymore. So, I might be on the lookout for something. Same with knobs, so but it's good for me to be able to have these parameters because I don't feel like this need and desire to get everything, and it's very freeing, especially when you have other hobbies that you want to put your money into or other things that you're trying to do and all that. And so one thing I always do as well is I always look at what's for sale as far as these higher end cards go also, because sometimes I might want to swap them out. I'll buy one and then maybe I'll sell or trade away whatever else I have. This line of thinking typically only works cleanly when it comes to the high-end relic cards. So knobs, buttons, barrels, patches, that sort of thing, because when it comes to the 90s parallels and inserts, it's kind of hard to pick and choose, from those, right? So, and plus the good thing is the reason, like you don't necessarily have to either, which is fine, because they're not able to make any more 90s inserts or parallels. So you have a finite number that you're working with. So anyways, those are a few thoughts of mine. I'll go ahead and show you a few of my category satisfiers, if that makes sense to you, so that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so I've shown my shelf before, and there's a lot of the 90s and 2000s cards. So a lot of these I'm not going to be able to really kind of pare down anything, so they don't really satisfy a specific category of like 90s inserts or whatever, but you can do that if you wanted. Down here though, if I were to keep like one buyback, I would say it would be this one. And maybe one wood card, it'd be this one. This satisfies my barrel card category, I guess you could say. This would be the sketch satisfier, the A's sleeve patch, the Rawlings rookie tag card, the button, the letter, the popsicle stick. I don't know. I don't know what that is. The triple threads wood card. And then, the superfractor. You see I've got two superfractors, so I haven't been able to pare down those into, just having one. But, I really like both of them, so I'm keeping both of them for now. The booklet behind them there, the Bash Brothers, Canseco McGuire. This is a baseball game, used baseball card. It's a custom that I actually created, but it satisfies a category as well, even though I made it, And then we've got the bat knob, and we've got the Rawling sleeve tag, the wood mini. So you see, there's a lot of ways that you can cut this up. The Dynasty satisfier there, and then see if there's anything else down here. This is a good one, like for licensed non-autograph 1 of 1, if you want to go that way. Then you got the, playing career patch, his first one. Then maybe a 1-2 punch where it's the same patch, so it's kind of a nice little run. And then, of course, you have like the specialty patch, like the World Series. And then, these two, they're custom, so they might, like that might satisfy a Rangers patch, and then these might satisfy an Expos and White Sox patch. So, anyways, like I said, there's a lot of ways that you can satisfy your collecting habits by categorizing things and having one card per category to satisfy what you would like to do. That's what I've done for the most part. You don't see 20 superfractors, you don't see 10 knobs, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's just the way that I've chosen to collect, because I want to go and I like being in vintage and comic books and everything like that as well. So and I feel satisfied. It's I know that if I were to get, say, another sleeve tag here, or sleeve patch here, will I be as excited to have two as I am having just one? Or will I have that excitement doubled? I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know, but I never can tell until I actually get a card. But having multiples of the same just kind of doesn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense for me personally at this juncture. And I'm quite happy with what I have right now, and I think that it's my hope, really, kind of, that this helps you along, or at least give you an idea or get the juices flowing in your brain as far as what to do when it comes to getting out of the mindset of having to have everything, and the gotta have it all mentality, and really kind of putting yourself in a position where you can get off the treadmill and enjoy collecting without having to get everything. So anyways, there it is, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this. Thanks. Have a great day.